What if everything you thought you knew about Skinwalker Ranch was only part of the story? For decades, this remote Utah property has been synonymous with UFO sightings, cattle mutilations, and shape-shifting creatures from Navajo legend. But hidden beneath a solid rock mesa lies something far more surprising than anyone anticipated. Scientific investigation has revealed metallic fragments, mysterious voids, and substances that defy conventional explanation. The truth, it seems, has been buried deep underground all along, and what has been uncovered is forcing even the most skeptical researchers to reconsider everything they thought they knew. In the heart of Utah's Uinta Basin lies a 512-acre property that has become the most scientifically studied paranormal hotspot on Earth. Skinwalker Ranch, named for the malevolent, shape-shifting witch of Navajo legend, has been the subject of Pentagon-funded black budget projects, university research, and one of the most ambitious scientific investigations ever undertaken on private land. The Uinta Basin itself has a history of strange sightings dating back centuries. Early Spanish explorers traveling the trade route through the basin reported seeing strange crafts flying above their campfires at night. UFO sightings became so commonplace that by the 1970s, local police had stopped filing incident reports. For 15 generations, indigenous tribes, including the Utes, have referred to this sandstone ridge as being in the path of the Skinwalker. Since 2016, the property has been owned by Brandon Fugel, a tech investor and venture capitalist who acquired the ranch as a skeptic. What he and his team have discovered beneath the mesa, a massive rock formation on the property, has transformed his skepticism into something far more profound. The story of Skinwalker Ranch begins long before the age of UFO sightings. The land has been part of the Uinta Basin for millennia, but it was in 1994 that the property first captured the nation's attention. Terry and Gwen Sherman purchased the ranch in 1994 after it had lain empty for 7 years. What they experienced during the next 2 years would quite literally drive them from the property. Shortly after settling into their dream country homestead, Terry and Gwen were startled by the sight of a fearsome animal, perhaps a wolf or coyote, stalking towards their livestock pen. When it grabbed a calf in its jaws, Terry fired at it with a handgun and then a rifle. Despite being hit multiple times, the creature didn't seem hurt and simply wandered away into the bushes, leaving behind a foul stench like rotting flesh. But that was only the beginning. The Shermans would often hear disembodied voices speaking directly above them, and on many nights the sky would randomly light up with strange phenomena. Cows would vanish without explanation, their hoof prints coming to an abrupt end in the snow, with no sign of the animals anywhere to be seen. In one particularly disturbing incident, Terry Sherman encouraged his dogs to chase a glowing blue orb that had been spotted on the property. After the dogs disappeared into the undergrowth, Terry heard audible yelps, and his pets never returned. Upon inspection, he found scorched earth and strange greasy blobs, which he presumed to be the charred remains of his dogs. Cattle were found dismembered and cored out with surgical precision that ruled out attacks by coyotes or other natural predators. Crop circles appeared in the fields. It seemed that Under the tenure of the Shermans, everything and anything occurred on the ranch, from poltergeist activity to Skinwalker sightings. Not a day seemed to go by without something out of the ordinary taking place. A newspaper article about the Shermans' terrifying experiences caught the attention of an unlikely party. Billionaire property magnate and aerospace engineer Robert Bigelow. As well as being a hard-headed businessman, Bigelow had a passion for space travel and the paranormal. He had recently founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS, which was effectively his own personal X-Files team, fascinated by the history of the region and convinced by the Shermans' stories. Bigelow purchased the ranch in 1996 for $200,000. The property was described by journalist George Knapp as presenting a unique opportunity to study a rich tapestry of strange stuff. It was as if someone had ordered up the weirdness pizza. With everything on it, Bigelow and NIDS set up monitoring equipment, observation posts, and round-the-clock surveillance. The team included scientists, former military intelligence officers, and researchers dedicated to studying the phenomena using a standard scientific approach. During the investigation, NIDS researchers witnessed the same inexplicable lights which the Shermans had reported. Yet their equipment would mysteriously malfunction at critical moments. There were even cases of electronic equipment being physically mangled and shredded, with wires ripped out. One NIDS consultant, retired Army intelligence officer, Colonel John Alexander, later noted that a precognitive sentient intelligence appeared to be at work on the ranch, somehow predicting what the NIDS team were going to do next and scuppering their equipment accordingly. As Alexander put it, something else is in control. And if it wants you to find out, it may allow that. But if it doesn't, this thing keeps morphing and changing into new shapes and forms. A biochemist working with NIDS, Colm Kelleher, reported spotting a creature one night that strongly resembled Bigfoot. The beast was spying on him from a nearby tree approximately 50 yards away. After Kelleher fired a warning shot, the creature quickly disappeared. Inspecting where it had stood, Kelleher discovered deep tracks in the snow, approximately 6 inches in diameter, that strangely included claw marks, as if from a bird of prey. In 2005, Kelleher and investigative journalist George Knapp published a book titled Hunt for the Skinwalker. Science confronts the unexplained at a remote ranch in Utah. The book brought international attention to the ranch and its mysteries. The book was read by Defense Intelligence Agency official James Lakatsky, who contacted Bigelow and obtained permission to visit the ranch. Lakatsky had a supernatural experience during his visit, which Bigelow relayed to his friend Senator Harry Reid. Reid and Senator Ted Stevens, both UFO experiencers, quickly agreed that the ranch deserved attention and inserted a line into the Department of Defense budget appropriating $22 million to study unidentified aerial phenomena. In 2008, the Defense Intelligence Agency allocated $22 million to Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies to investigate UFOs and related phenomena, with much of this funding directed through the study of Skinwalker Ranch. This made Skinwalker Ranch the most government-funded paranormal investigation in American history. The Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP, studied military UFO encounters and the now famous Tic Tac, Go Fast, and Gimbal videos. Louis Elizondo, the intelligence officer in charge of AATIP, coordinated with the DIA and the team studying Skinwalker Ranch. Elizondo framed the investigation in national security terms. He said, "Let's take the nature of Skinwalker Ranch out of the equation and just look at it from an intelligence problem. You have to ask yourself, is this something that is occurring naturally? Is it something that is being deliberately done? Is it something that another nation could be behind trying to influence us?" In 2016, after 20 years of investigation, Robert Bigelow sold the ranch to Adamantium Real Estate LLC for approximately $500,000. For years, the new owner's identity remained a secret. It was only in March 2020 that Brandon Fugel, a prominent Utah real estate developer and tech investor, announced his ownership. Fugel acquired the property as a skeptic. He had a successful business career, a net worth of approximately $450 million, and approached the ranch as a scientific puzzle rather than a paranormal mystery. What he and his team would discover would challenge his skepticism at its core. In 2019, the History Channel and Prometheus Entertainment began filming The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, which premiered in 2020. The show assembled a team of scientists and experts equipped with cutting-edge technology, including astrophysicist Dr. Travis Taylor, who had 5 degrees in science and engineering and had worked with the Department of Defense and NASA. Taylor approached the investigation with professional skepticism. As he told reporters, he doesn't like the word paranormal at all because it suggests that something we see in the universe, and it exists within the universe, that it's not supposed to be in the universe. And what he saw was within our universe. So to him, he would say it's normal. He would say it's something that we just don't understand and don't know what it is. Taylor was critical of earlier investigations. He claimed that Bigelow didn't spend 37 cents on research at the ranch and that he had his own personal belief systems that tainted the research, focusing on odd paranormal ideas by bringing in remote viewers and psychics rather than rigorous science. Despite his skepticism, Taylor admitted that what he experienced during the investigation surprised him. He stated that absolutely, without a doubt, they had scientific instruments detect and measure, multiple witnesses see, multiple cameras, and multiple occasions. Phenomena that cannot be explained by human technology. It doesn't mean it can't be explained by a better or future understanding of physics, but it does mean they can't explain it with human technology. The focus of the Fugel team's investigation has been a massive rock formation on the property known simply as the Mesa. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed that a number of mysterious objects may be buried deep inside the Mesa, including a massive, possibly metallic object. In season 3 of the series, the team began drilling into the solid rock Mesa. What they discovered would defy all expectations. The drill encountered a mysterious void containing an impenetrable object, something so hard that it severely damaged brand new tungsten carbide drill bits. After recovering metal fragments from the drilling, the team conducted scientific tests that revealed shocking results. The fragments were analyzed by a professor from the University of Utah, who concluded they were not naturally occurring. The materials included metallic pieces and manufactured ceramic material, substances that should not exist within a geological formation. In Season 5, the team made perhaps the most bizarre discovery yet. During a drilling operation, they uncovered a mysterious blob-like substance that was moist and green. The drilling company did not know what it was. It had never come out of their equipment before. The team handled it carefully, with only ranch superintendent Thomas Winterton, known as Dragon, holding it in his hand. Not wanting to put it in a Ziploc bag, principal investigator Eric Bard placed it in a jar filled with bottled water and sent it to the lab for analysis. Analysis at the lab found that the green jelly-like substance was not indigenous to the area. Initial speculation that it might be algae was disproven. A smear sample of the goo revealed trace amounts of burnt plant materials and charcoal, suggesting that a fire may have occurred inside the mesa at some point in history. Adding to the mystery, the team also discovered a pink, gelatinous substance from the same area. Wood samples recovered from the drilling showed evidence of pores, suggesting that there may have been a buried wetland under the mesa at some point in the distant past. Another significant discovery came during a high-tech laser experiment at a location known as the Triangle. The team uncovered evidence of a massive bubble or dome-shaped anomaly that seems to affect electronic equipment and signals. New ground-penetrating radar revealed that multiple mysterious objects may be buried deep inside the mesa, possibly forming a deliberate tunnel system. Further investigation revealed that the area has been the site of startling encounters. During one drilling operation, the team detected dangerous energy spikes and discovered something that may have come from outer space. Dr. Travis Taylor proposed that gamma rays were hitting the camera's sensor during borehole inspections, suggesting an unusual amount of high-energy radiation emanating from inside the mesa. Brandon Fugel, a tech investor and real estate developer, purchased the property in 2016 through Adamantium Real Estate LLC. He has funded the investigation entirely from his own pocket and has since become, in his words, an experiencer. Robert Bigelow, founder of the National Institute for Discovery Science and Bigelow Aerospace, purchased the ranch in 1996 and funded the initial scientific investigation. He is a believer in extraterrestrial visitation and has invested heavily in space technology. Dr. Travis Taylor, an astrophysicist, aerospace engineer, and optical scientist, leads much of the scientific investigation on the television series. He has worked as chief scientist on the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. George Knapp is an investigative journalist who first brought the Sherman story to public attention and co-authored Hunt for the Skinwalker with Colm Kelleher. Colm Kelleher is a biochemist who led the NIDS investigation at Skinwalker Ranch and co-authored the definitive book on the property. He personally witnessed strange creatures and phenomena during his time on the ranch. Terry and Gwen Sherman are the family whose terrifying experiences on the ranch brought the property to national attention in the mid-1990s. Colonel John B. Alexander is a retired Army intelligence officer who participated in the NIDS investigation. He characterized the NIDS effort as an attempt to get hard data using a standard scientific approach. Eric Bard is the principal investigator for the current team. He oversees the scientific instruments and data analysis on the ranch. Thomas Winterton, known as Dragon, is the ranch superintendent who has been on the ground since the investigation began. He was present at the drilling operations and personally handled the mysterious green jelly. What makes the Skinwalker Ranch investigation different from typical paranormal research is its connection to official government funding and its commitment to the scientific method. Multiple independent experts, third-party subject matter specialists, and university professors have been involved in the analysis. When the team drilled into the Mesa, they discovered a mysterious void containing an impenetrable object. The drill repeatedly struck something extremely hard, damaging brand new tungsten carbide bits. Metal fragments extracted from the Mesa were analyzed by a professor from the University of Utah, who concluded they were not naturally occurring. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed multiple voids within the Mesa, possibly forming a deliberate tunnel system. Smoke has been observed being sucked into the Mesa, suggesting openings to underground spaces. The team extracted a strange green jelly-like substance from the boreholes. The laboratory analysis found it was not indigenous to the area and contained trace amounts of burnt plant materials and charcoal. A pink gelatinous substance was also discovered. In 2008, the Defense Intelligence Agency allocated $22 million to Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies to investigate UFOs and related phenomena, with much of this funding directed through the study of Skinwalker Ranch. The property has been monitored for decades with armed security and surveillance 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. UFO sightings in the Uinta Basin date back to the 1700s when early Spanish explorers reported strange crafts flying above their campfires at night. The region has a documented 300-year history of unexplained sightings. The ranch borders the Uinta and Ouray Indian Reservation, established by presidential decree in 1861. The reservation covers 4.5 million acres and is home to the Ute tribe, whose oral traditions include legends of skinwalkers and strange phenomena in the region. Historical records indicate that Buffalo soldiers were stationed at Fort Duchesne in 1886, one of whom was a known Mason and may have connections to Masonic symbols etched into a rock wall on the property. Perhaps the most significant turning point came when the team lowered a specialized camera into a borehole deep within the Mesa. Despite powerful lights, the footage was pitch black, yet captured numerous tiny flashing specks of light appearing for split seconds. Dr. Travis Taylor proposed these were gamma rays hitting the camera's sensor, suggesting an unusual amount of high-energy radiation emanating from inside the Mesa. Another turning point came during a high-tech laser experiment at the Triangle, where the team discovered evidence that may explain the strange phenomena on the ranch, including a massive bubble or dome-shaped anomaly that seems to affect electronic equipment and signals. The discovery of the green and pink gel-like substances represented a third major turning point. These materials, found deep within the mesa, had no natural explanation. The presence of burnt plant material and charcoal suggested either a historical fire inside the mesa or the possibility of deliberate human or non-human activity. A fourth turning point occurred when the team detected dangerous energy spikes during drilling operations at the Triangle area, discovering something that may have come from outer space. This discovery suggested that the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch may have connections beyond Earth. The Skinwalker Ranch investigation has had a profound impact on the study of unidentified aerial phenomena. The $22 million in government funding, first reported by the New York Times in December 2017, was largely directed through the study of this ranch, making it the most government-funded paranormal investigation in American history. Journalist George Knapp has emphasized that the ranch is not just about flying saucers and things in the sky. It is about a lot more different kinds of phenomena that happen in association with it. This has helped shift the conversation about UFOs toward a broader understanding of interconnected phenomena. The investigation has also influenced public perception of UFOs. In December 2017, the New York Times revealed the Pentagon's secret study of UFOs. But that article made no mention of the far more mysterious encounters at Skinwalker Ranch. The subsequent public interest in the Pentagon's programs can be partially traced to the sustained investigation of Skinwalker Ranch. The ranch has become a cultural phenomenon. By 2022, it had become the most Googled landmark in the United States, surpassing even Area 51 in public interest. The investigation has also been met with significant skepticism. Skeptical author Robert Schieffer believes the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch to be almost certainly illusory. He notes that the previous owners of the property, who had lived there for 60 years, say that no supernatural events had happened there. Schieffer considers the explanation, relying upon the fewest assumptions, to be that the Sherman family invented the story prior to selling it to the gullible Bigelow, with many of the more extraordinary claims originating solely from Terry Sherman, who worked as a caretaker after the ranch was sold to Bigelow. The absence of verifiable physical evidence, despite decades of investigation, remains a central challenge. NIDS researchers admitted to difficulty obtaining evidence consistent with scientific publication. In 1996, skeptic James Randi awarded Bigelow a tongue-in-cheek Pegasus Award for funding what he considered one of the most useless studies of the supernatural. In 2023, ufologist Barry Greenwood, writing in the Journal of Scientific Exploration, criticized the $22 million research program led by James Lakatsky. He emphasized the lack of any documentary evidence from the ranch after many decades of exploration and characterized Skinwalker as always being in the business of selling belief and hope. Skeptics also point out that the television series follows a pattern of manufacturing drama for entertainment, with many of the discoveries serving primarily to generate viewer interest rather than advance scientific understanding. The Skinwalker Ranch investigation forces us to confront a fundamental question about the nature of evidence and belief. For every piece of intriguing data, the metallic fragments, the mysterious void, the gelatinous substances, there is a skeptical counter-argument. For every eyewitness account, there is the possibility of misinterpretation or fabrication. Dr. Travis Taylor's approach to the investigation offers a model for how to proceed. He asks, is it God? Is it angels? Is it aliens? Is it demons? What could be causing these strange phenomena? Or is it just something that is a serendipitous piece of nature? The investigation also highlights the tension between government funding and public disclosure. The $22 million program produced reams of documents and reports, but they have never been made public. This lack of transparency fuels both skepticism and speculation. The ranch's history also demonstrates the power of place in human imagination. For 15 generations, indigenous tribes have considered this ridge to be in the path of the Skinwalker. The landscape itself seems to invite mystery. Whether the phenomena are real or imagined, the land continues to inspire wonder and fear. As the investigation continues into Season 7 and beyond, the Mesa on Skinwalker Ranch remains both a physical and metaphorical barrier. What lies beneath it, whether natural geological formation, manufactured structure, or something else entirely, continues to elude definitive identification. The story of Skinwalker Ranch forces us to confront questions that transcend the boundaries of conventional science. Is this a place where the boundaries of our understanding are being tested? Is it a reflection of our enduring desire to believe in mysteries beyond our comprehension? Or is it something else entirely? A phenomena that, as Dr. Travis Taylor suggests, is normal in the sense that it exists within our universe, but abnormal in that we simply don't yet understand it. Perhaps the answer, if it exists, remains buried, waiting to be uncovered by the next drill bit, the next experiment, or the next generation of researchers willing to look. Until then, the Mesa keeps its secret, and the legend of Skinwalker Ranch continues to fascinate and perplex in equal measure. In the words of Louis Elizondo, you have to ask yourself, is this something that is occurring naturally? Is it something that is being deliberately done? Is it something that another nation could be behind trying to influence us? These questions remain unanswered, but for a growing number of scientists, researchers, and investigators, the search for answers has only just begun. Skinwalker Ranch and what lies beneath the Mesa may yet reveal secrets that change our understanding of reality itself.